Good evening, everybody. How are you? I would like to hear from your side if everything is okay. You are hearing me clearly.
Yeah, clear. Good evening.
Yeah, it's clear.
Great. I'm still having people connecting and trying to join the session. Our session today will
Hi.
be. Hi, Mr. Mars. How are you?
Yeah, fine. How are you, Mr. Jan?
All is good. Thank you for joining. Thank you everybody for being here. Today we are here to help you to understand how things will go through your journey with the project management professional exam, and if you need to prepare for passing the exam and you're attending or trying to pass your exam on the first attempt. Today's class will be held by Mr. Denis. We are not starting now. I will be allowing for extra 3 to 4 minutes so people can join easily. Then inshallah we'll be opening the floor for us to start our session, and this session is going to be recorded. So we will be sharing this link inshallah later if we find that there is a need for that. So I will leave you for 3 to 4 minutes, then we are going to start immediately. Thank you all.
Hello, everybody.
Hello again, Mr. Hussein. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
All is cool. How's it going on your side?
Good.
All is cool?
Yes.
Did you start preparing for your exam?
To be honest, I will start prepare.
Yalla, great. I am here. I'm always here. Whenever you need me, just drop me a message and you'll find me always there.
Sure.
السلام عليكم.
Great. وعليكم السلام. أهلا مستر
كيفك
محمد.
دكتور؟
حياك الله مستر محمد يوسف. كيف حالك؟
الحمد لله رب العالمين.
كله تمام؟
نحمد الله رب العالمين.
إن شاء الله.
كيفك حسين؟
مرحب، كيفك محمد؟ شو أخبارك؟
الحمد لله رب العالمين. والله مفتقدينكم كثير والله.
والله أنا مفتقدكم جدا يا شباب.
مفتقدينكم كثير والله.
تسلم، نحن بالأكثر. لنا الشرف بمعرفتكم.
والله احنا بالأكثر. نشكرك باشمهندس. مهندس محمد فارس، كيف حالك؟
والله الحمد لله في خير ونعمة. شو أخباركم أنتم؟
والله تمام، مشتاقين. أمورك طيبة؟
والله الحمد لله بلشنا شوي هيك إن شاء الله عازمين الشهر الجاي نعدوا إن شاء الله.
Great, bravo. So great guys, I'm going to go through the names to say hi to everybody new to the sessions. I am Jaser Mustafa and I am a PMP trainer, and I have my participants, my course participants attending this class, which is an honor to me as well. And I have new people here in the session, like Mr. Ahmed SH, Ahmed Miqdad, Miss Ala or Mr. Ala Sharqawi, and Mr. Sayyid just joined. I think Mr. Bilal or Bilham, Mr. Ili, Mr. Fakhri, and Miss Florina, Mr. Hani, Mr. Hussein, Mr. Karam. Karam حبيبي كيف حالك؟ Inshallah you hear me. Great. And Mr. Khalid and Mr. Mani Mars, Mr. Denis, he is the speaker of
أهلا
our
وسهلا يا
today's
جاسر.
session. هلا Mr. كرم كيف حالك؟
تمام الحمد لله الله يسعدك.
حياك والله شرفتني اليوم في السيشن.
يعطيكم العافية.
الله يعافيك.
أنا خالد. كيف حالكم؟
أهلا خالد العقدة صح؟
سؤال أنا طالب خريج بضبط أضل ولا
بضبط؟ إحنا كلنا بنطلع وأنت بتضل. أهلا وسهلا.
الله يسعدك. هسه كل اللي هون مهندسين صناعيين يعني ولا؟
لا من كل التخصصات. هذه بروجكت مانجمنت صديقي.
هندسة صناعية عملنا.
حياك الله. هذه مادة اسمها Project Management Professional. It's an international ranked certificate و people are always chasing to pass the PMP exam. So we are trying to help people to know how to prepare for the exam. This is one of the sessions.
تمام.
حياك. And Miss Mayada as well, and everybody here guys. I cannot go through all the names, so let's start our session. I'm going to share my screen and I am going to introduce our speaker for today, who is Mr. Denis. First of all, we are going to say congratulations to Mr. Denis who just passed his exam of the PMP recently from the first attempt, which is, to be honest, made me proud. And I'm usually getting speakers from my courses to talk to people or to students who are attending my courses. So I believe it is from students and for students as well, which is, I believe, it's also closer to students' situation, even if they are, let's say, with 20 or 20 years of experience. So this will help them a lot to understand how other guys are getting past their exams from the first attempt. And please excuse my English language because I'm not a native speaker, so if I make some mistakes, please don't count on that. So Mr. Denis Mata is a project management professional who has recently got certified. He's here in Qatar and he's a mechanical engineer. He's a member of the Philippine Society for the Mechanical Engineers. He just got his certificate in PMP after finishing his course and preparing for the session and the exam, and he will be telling us many points about how his journey was. He is experienced in his experience is in many fields like telecommunications, power and generation and utilities, petrochemicals, and he had got some variety of roles like operations and maintenance, plant management and planning. He is Mr. Denis Mata and he will be taking the microphone starting now until the end of our class. And after that, inshallah, we'll open the floor for the audience to ask whatever they feel that they want to know more than what is mentioned in the session. I would highly recommend, guys, if you mute your microphones during the session, and I will be facilitating the question and answer session after Mr. Denis' session. Mr. Denis, please go ahead.
Hello, good evening everyone. How are you today?
Great. We would appreciate if you open the camera so we can get to know you better.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me open the camera first.
Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Great.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? All
It's
is
nice
good?
to be. It's nice to be here with you all today. And I would like to share my presentation. I prepared a short presentation for you to know me initially, and I will tell how I passed, how I prepared, and what is my journey here in the PMP exams and PMP course itself. As Mr. Jaser said, I'm a mechanical engineer.
Sorry,
I've
Mr.
been,
Denis, we are still not seeing your screen. Can you share it, please?
Okay. 1 minute.
Great. Great, we see it now. Go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah. Okay. As I was saying, Jaser told I was a mechanical engineer. I recently joined the course May of 2022. And then I finished the course around August. Then I prepared for the exam. It took me more than 1 month for preparation. And then fortunately, I passed the exam on the first try. Now I have in the industry, I have 28 years working experience, and out of 28 years, most of it is in operations and maintenance, a little bit of plant management, and a little bit of planning. My main experience is in operation of and maintenance in the power generation and utilities areas. So why did I pursue this course in the PMP and why PMI? After 28 years in the industry, I felt that my career is on a plateau. I'm getting nowhere. So I decided to improve myself. I started looking for short courses, and I came across with the PMP, Project Management Professional, being a high standard, what they call this, a high standard, globally accepted organization, globally recognized organization. So I asked around, and I asked around who are the centers providing this course, and I came with this excellence center. Also, I wanted to add more value to my present role. Right now, I'm in operations and maintenance in the utilities of a large oil and gas company here in Ras Laffan. I want to add more value. I want to contribute more. Also, looking further into the future, I want to support my future plans to accept and prepare myself to accept greater responsibilities in the company. Eventually, I want to feel self-fulfilled in my professional growth. That's why I choose PMP. About the PMP materials, actually, Mr. Mustafa is an expert in the project management, as he can. I'm sure he told you during his introduction of himself. He is well versed in all of the topics when he coaches us during our sessions. His competency is also backed up by various certifications and the experience in the field. And he has the passion and the skill to transfer knowledge to all of us attending his sessions. He can also relate these different theories of the management, project management. He can relate it and translate it into his real life experiences in the field, in the scenarios. He can easily do that because of his experience. There are also a lot of project PMP materials on site, but mostly I concentrated on the PM Box 7th edition. The materials I concentrated with in my studies. Mr. Mustafa's modules are quite very valuable. I go through it multiple times. It's very structured and well designed. It is in his presentations, the key points were highlighted. You don't need, you won't have any difficulties understanding it when compared to reading the book, the PM book. It is all there, highlighted. The key points are there. It is packed with information, and it is based on the 7th edition itself. Now, aside from that, while preparing for my exams, there are quite mock-ups that he will recommend to you. This is his personal mock-ups. He designed it himself. It is available in Udemy. If anyone would ask me, is it worth purchasing these mock-ups? Yes, definitely. Why? I'll tell you why. In these mock-ups, it is sort of a simulation of the actual PMP exam environment itself. Those questions in the mock-ups reflect the real concepts and the situations that are in the PMP exams itself. It is of varying difficulty also, as in the real PMP exam. The line of thought, the theory involved that you need to analyze is the same, almost similar, I can say, to the PMP. And after each questions, when you review, when you finish the mock-up exams, you can review each questions one by one. The explanations are very well, the answers to the questions, the theory are very well explained after each questions. All the explanations are on point and are aligned with the PMBOK 7th edition. The most important thing that I find in these mock-ups, it is consisting with that questions are made with varying difficulties and jam-packed with a lot of different situations, actual situations in the project management field, which only Mr. Jaser, the instructor, can explain with competency. So yes, I recommend also you take this, you purchase this mock-up exams simulator. During the exam, I concentrated on the mock-ups and the book itself. I go through it a lot of times. The mock-ups in itself, it is a time frame. The time frame is similar to that of the actual PMP. So I only focus on the material that I have, the mock-ups and the PMBOK. I did not go on researching multiple sources for material. This is enough, I can say. When I go through the material, I did a lot of visualization. Because I don't have extensive experience in the project management, so I did a lot of thinking and visualization for myself. I thought about the situations, the concepts, the theory, and I visualize it in the real world. What is going to happen in the real world? So I did a lot of that in my preparation. Also, when I took the mock-ups, I did it in an environment which is similar to the required environment in the PMP. Because in the PMP, you have to have a clear desk. The instructor in the PMP exam will ask you to show your area by camera. It should be clean, it should be conducive to this exam itself, exam environment. So I did that. I prepared myself doing that one. Also, I went through the timer, the time frame. I went through that one, and I tracked my progress also. The very important thing here is not to memorize the actual answers, because if you go through multiple times, you will remember one by one this exact question. This will be the answer. Don't memorize. I advise you don't memorize, but instead understand the concepts and the theory, how it works, how the theory works. It will be explained also, so it will not be a difficult way to understand. It will be explained at the end of the questions. Also, before the exam, I go through the website of the PMI. I review all the exam requirements to prepare myself, prepare my mind mentally. I set the setup, the laptop, because there's certain requirements, system requirements for the exam. So I prepare, I go through that, what is required, then I prepare the system itself. And my area, the desk itself, the environment, I prepared. On the exam day, I made sure that I had the complete rest the night before. The time of my exam was 4 a.m. So 3 a.m. I woke up, refreshed myself up, and prepared the system. And 15 minutes before the exam, I was online. Then there will be instructions once you log in. There will be step-by-step instructions. Just follow it, and it is easy to understand. You will go through it easily. The questions itself, if I go through once and then I read it another time, if I don't understand the question the second time, I skip the question, I flag it. There's an option to flag, and I go through, I skip it, and I go through the next question. So that is my way of answering. I don't spend much time initially on one question. I read it twice, then if I cannot understand, I skip it. And then after there's a batch of questions, I think 60 if I'm not mistaken, 60 questions, then there will be a break, 10-minute break. I made sure I took those breaks to freshen me up and to allow myself to clear my mind again before going to the next batch of questions. At the end of each batch, you have the option to go back to the questions that you missed, that you skipped. So you can do that. So the time frame, you can calculate how many minutes you will answer for each question. You can calculate that one. And during the mock-up exam, you will be able to pace yourself accordingly. So basically, that's what I did during the exam. There's nothing spectacular about my preparation. Then I want to share to you my exam report. After the exam, maybe after 2 days, in the PMI website, you will have this. So you will have the scores. So and the performance domains here. What is the meaning of the above target? Explanations will also be here. You will get this also once you finish taking the exam. Now for each domain, people, process, and the business environment, those are the 3 performance domains. Each task you will be ranked here, low and low to high. So if you can see, mostly it is bordering between low and high, a few low in the middle portion and the high. So I still have a lot of areas to improve by seeing this one, low and the middle portion. So this is my card. I just want to show you PMI membership card. This is the PMI certificate that I had when I joined the PMI website. And this is my certificate, the PMP certificate that I was given. And also you will have the PMP badge. It will be sent to you by mail if you pass the exam. So I think that's it from my side. If there's any questions, I'm available to answer the questions.
Great, Mr. Denis. Thank you so much for the information you have shared with us. And now we are going for the questions and answers. I will start to motivate people to start asking. I would ask you if you remember how long did the exam take you to finish or to complete the total exam?
The total allotted time is around 240 minutes, I think.
The
I'm
total
not
is
sure.
230, the full amount
Yeah,
of time. But
the
did
full
you
amount.
consume all
But
of them?
yes, but I consume only. I finished that 30 minutes early.
Ah, great, great.
Yes, yeah.
So you could manage your time easily, and this is one of the points that people, to be honest, find difficulties in managing that. So you have managed your time easily, which is great, and I do recommend everybody to make sure that they pay attention to time counters.
Yes.
So I think Mr. Bilal has raised his hand.
Yes, good evening, and congratulations for you passing the exam. I just have one question. Did you allocate certain number of hours to study? How many hours per day did you study?
Actually, due to my workload, to be honest, I did not allocate a certain amount of time per day because of my workload. I'm at work 12 hours in a day, so I start my work at 6 o'clock and I end in 6 o'clock in the evening, morning to evening. So I allotted minimum 1 to 2 hours per day. But to be honest, sometimes I was not able to follow that one.
Great.
I
And
just
was
kept
that
on
happening
reading.
every day, Mr. Denis?
Because in the mock-up exams, when you start the exam, you have the option to pause.
Yes.
So I took a lot of questions. Some maybe if I have more time, I answered a lot of questions according to my time. Then I just pause the exam. Then I come back to it later.
Great. Great. Thank you, Mr. Bilal, for the questions. Very important. And guys, I would highly recommend you not to fear from the exam because Mr. Denis has a 12 hours shift of work. So, and he did it by allocating 1 to 2 hours either daily or by daily. So it's not an impossible mission to be completed. Any other questions, guys, before I ask my question? Who's interested? Go ahead, Mr. Hani. Mr. Hani, you raised your hand. You can open the mic and go ahead, please. I'm not sure if you can hear us, Mr. Hani. Okay, any other questions, guys, until Mr. Hani solves the problem? Mr. or Miss Ala or Ala? Go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Walaikum salam.
Excuse me, I need to ask regarding if you get any email before your exam to register, or directly you will open your website. What the procedure? Because my exam also coming next week.
You will see on the PMI website the status of your exam. Did you have a scheduled exam now?
Yeah, done.
Yeah. You will see in the exam. You will see. I don't remember if I received an email, but I monitored my schedules through the PMI website. It will be in the PMI website.
You keep tracking before the exam to know the procedure exactly before the exam itself starting.
Yeah, you can. The procedures you can see it in the PMI website. Actually, you can see it now in advance. It is always there. The information is always there.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
But before you start your exam, before 1 hour, you get one email from PMI themselves.
You don't need that email. You can just use the same email you have already received once you booked your exam, and you can access from there to your either PMI dashboard or the third-party proctor exam. You're taking the exam online, right?
Okay.
You're taking the exam online at home?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that's the process. You just open the same email. You go to the PMI dashboard. You can find the place where you had the email, the exam schedule. You just click on that. It will transfer you to, I think, Pearson, the name, the third party.
Yeah.
and you have to test your system upfront. So don't wait until the day of the exam. Try to test the environment, your laptop, the internet connection, the camera connection, the microphone, and the system will tell you if everything is okay. You can use the same system on the exam day. On the exam day, you need to access that same email and same location of whatever the links you have clicked upfront, maybe 30 minutes before your exam, and they will be asking you to download a certain application on your mobile for ID verification and identity verification. They will ask you to upload your document on the application, and then you will be transferred automatically. Definitely you will be scanning a barcode on the screen. It will connect the application to the screen, so they know that you are identifying yourself. You upload the documents, you take 4 photos of the place where you are taking the exam. Make sure your desk doesn't have any obstacles. You don't have any mobile or something personal in your hand reach, so everything is out of reach. Just keep the mobile near to you, so if they call you, you can reach your mobile. So those are the tips, and make sure that you are always within the camera view.
Okay. Noted.
For me, I prefer to do the exam in the center or.
You can do it. It's easily done in the center. Don't worry.
Yes, because the internet connection sometimes it's cutting and coming back.
You're right. Yeah. But Mr. Ala Sharqawi has already booked his exam online, so he is asking how he can track when the exam is and which links to access. So if you
even if you book online, you can go to do it in the center, or no, you have to book on the center.
And I believe in the center. To be honest, I didn't have that dual option, so I'm not sure if this is applicable or not. I will be making sure of that, and I will share the information with you guys.
Please.
Great. Mr. Ala, you still have any doubt to clarify?
Yeah, one more question. Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Once I online in the exam itself, okay, can I read the exam by my lips?
No.
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 I should keep silent without any moving.
Yes. No voice, no reading out loud. Don't raise your voice. Don't talk to anybody within your room. And if you come closer to the screen or very far from the screen, they will be sending you a message to make it comfortable and to sit fairly within your screen range. So you are not allowed to raise your voice. The only sentence that you can say during the exam, if somebody accesses your room, you can just tell them, please, I'm writing an exam, please leave. That's all.
Also, cannot move your hand, put on your head something.
لا عادي if you are doing this it's okay, but don't do it frequently. Don't force them to doubt your movements. عادي do the exam easily, comfortably, make yourself comfortable, and do the exam as like any other exam. They just want to make sure that you are not cheating.
تمام. شكرا.
Great. Mr. Sayed, go ahead please.
Hi, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And my question is did you follow any other material or any other mock online, or it's just Mr. Jaser's material and mocks?
No, I just followed the PM book, number 1, the book, and the 3 mock-ups that I purchased from Mr. Jaser. Only that. I concentrated on those materials only.
Good to hear that.
Great.
That's more than enough, because there's a lot of questions. Those are very, very valuable questions that are there. That is enough.
Very good. Other questions, guys? Go ahead, Mr. Muhammad Faris.
Yes, first congratulations. I just want to ask about the quantity of agile questions in the exam comparing to the waterfall questions.
Sorry, can you say again the quantity of?
Agile questions comparing to the waterfall questions on a quantity basis.
Yeah, he is asking about the percentage of agile questions against other environmental practices. How much agile, how much traditional?
Actually, I lost track counting, because it is not one group of agile, one group of traditional. It is a mix. So I to be honest, I lost track counting. I did not count.
Yeah, but
it is a mix.
I can help on that if you allow me, Mr. Denis. Usually, guys, it's 50 to 60% agile questions, but some of my students were telling me that they have got 80% agile. So please focus on the agile practice, agile management, agile team members, agile meetings, and agile retrospectives, iteration reviews, daily stand-up meetings, spike, iteration versus increments, all of those. The role of the Scrum Master, the role of the product owner is very important, and the role of the sponsor and the client for the agile. Those topics are highly recommended to focus on them. Great, great, great. Mr.
Thank
Ili.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Mr. Ili, go ahead, please.
Yes, first congratulations again.
Thank you.
My question actually it's did you have something like once you started the exam, did you have something you wish you knew before starting the exam? Just like when you started, you thought maybe I wish I knew this before. Do you have something like this or something you can share with us?
Actually, to be honest, no. I'm satisfied with my preparation because I just go through the mock-up multiple times. I just analyzed more. I just wish that I had more time to study. That's my only wish. Aside from the questions, there's nothing more I had.
Great. Great. Mr. Ili, and I have an input, please, Mr. Denis, allow me to answer as well.
Please. Yes, please.
For me, I didn't have anybody to tell me about the online exams, guys, about having that online exam in my own space and on my own computer. So once I wrote the exam, I started the application, running the system on my computer. I had a strange issue that I have to stop all Autodesk softwares or something they call like Autodesk Desktop Connector. And I tried to reach that on the process on the task manager. I could not do that. So I removed all the setup of all the Autodesk softwares, and that did not solve the problem. And I tried again to access the same name that they were mentioning until I reached that, and I could pause or stop or freeze that process on the task manager. Then the system could run. So the thing that I would like to mention, that you need to check if there is any firewall restrictions on your computer, to check your internet connection, and to check that you don't have any dedicated or plugged in microphone within the computer. You have to have that built-in laptop microphone, or you have a built-in microphone within your PC or the camera that you are connecting to the PC. I use this one, guys. So fortunately, this one has a microphone. So I had to remove the microphone. They forced me to remove the microphone from the computer, and I was using a personal computer, a desktop. So fortunately, this camera had a microphone. Otherwise, I could get my exam terminated. So those small pieces of information I wish I could know before having the exam. But alhamdulillah, after writing the exam, I could figure out all those problems, and usually I'm telling that to the students. Great. Other questions, guys? Mr. Hani, you can write your question in the chat box because you have a problem in the microphone. If you write it in the chat box, I will read it for you. Other questions? We are here. The floor is open, guys. You can use the chat box and you can use your microphone. Mr. Ala, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. Excuse me, I need to ask you regarding once you do the markup questions, as what you mentioned, what the scores that you get once you do the simulations for the exam?
So, So I did it multiple times. The first time I tried, I got 55 first time. And the scores, it went up as I understood the concepts. It went up sequentially until I passed.
Great. So you passed with an 84%. My mockups are 84% the passing grade.
Yeah.
I'll go to Mr. Mujtabi's question. Did you go through the 6th edition book?
No, I did not go through the 6th edition.
Great.
I concentrated on the 7th and the mock-ups only.
And by the way, guys, he concentrated also on my materials, right? My materials
yes.
are mentioning the topics from the sixth edition book, which are needed for your exam. So great, he has
Yes.
covered the material. For Miss Florina, she's asking when you finished the course. He finished in May, and how did this change your practice? How did this change your practice, Mr. Denis?
Practice at work, you
Yes,
mean?
practical.
Actually, I started May, I finished this August. And right now, I have a better understanding now of the ins and outs of these processes. As Mr. Jaser told, this project management is not applicable only to a certain type of industry. It is applicable to all industries. So I try to relate what I learned here in project management to my current role, and I found out that I can apply more concepts now in my work
Great.
today. Yeah.
Great. You are from construction company, right?
No, oil and gas.
Oil and gas. Great. From oil and gas. Very good. Mr. Sami, go ahead, please.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. My question here, did you feel there is big difference between the simulation exam and the physical exam? If there is a percentage, if you can tell us about that.
Yeah, actually the mock-up exam, it actually very, very similar. I can say 95% similar to that of the mock-up, to that of the actual exams. The concepts are there. 95% are there. In the mock-ups, there are some calculations. In my exam, there were actually no calculations required. That is the only difference. But
Yes.
most of it is there. It's actually there.
Yes, great, guys. You need to know that the calculations are minimal if you get any question for calculations, but you need to understand the numbers behind calculations. And if they tell you, for example, SPI is 1.2, you need to know that your project is behind schedule or ahead of the schedule. You need to understand that meaning. If they tell you that CPI is 1.3, you need to know that you are on a cost overrun, or you are within budget, or you are below budget. So you need to know the meaning of the numbers, because you as a project manager is going to build your decision based on the numbers. So the question will not ask you to calculate the number. They will be giving you the situation where the numbers are given, and they will ask you what is the best action to be done as a project manager to solve this situation. So the thing that you will need to understand the abbreviations, you need to understand the meaning of the numbers, so you know what is the situation and you know what is the solution of that situation based on the numbers that you have. So they are measuring 4 skills instead of measuring how you calculate the number. Great.
So one question.
Yes,
Mr.
Mr. Sami, go ahead, please.
In PMP book, I think you are referring to PMP book and the simulate exam.
Okay.
So in PMP book, what exactly you are focusing, so you can, there is a benefit from the PMP book?
Okay,
you are focusing on it, or
for me or for Mr. Denis, the question?
Both of anyone can answer.
Okay, Mr. Denis, if you want to add anything for the question.
Okay, I concentrated on the PM book mainly because the modules are based on that one. So if I need some explanations aside from what is there in the modules of Mr. Jaser, if I want more information, then I go back to the PM book, 7th edition, and read thoroughly.
Great. And for me, guys, the material is based on the 7th edition because it's the latest content material from the PMI, and I am diving thoroughly deeper into the project management from the perspective of the development approach, people leadership and relationships among the projects, stakeholder management, and agile practice versus traditional practice. Definitely we connect it directly to uncertainty and risk, which you will have good portion of questions on risk in the exam, and change order processes, how you go through the change order process, which is also a good area to be asked about in the exam. I wish I answered your question, Mr. Sami.
Yeah, thank you very much. One question for you, Mr. Jaser.
Yes, please.
for agile, there is any material you can provide, or in the course there is more details will refer it on the next courses.
The course will discuss hugely or deeply the agile practice, and if you are going to look for extra material, there is a PMI agile standards or agile practice standards or fundamentals. You can go through that material also. It's a good source of information. I can send it to you as well, guys. Don't worry. Great. Mr. Sameh, you raised your hand.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Can I share my experience just for 5 minutes? It can answer a lot of questions for everybody here.
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
First of all, congrats, Mr. Denis.
Thank you, thank you.
Hope you will achieve it more now and you will succeed in your career, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I attended for this exam 6 months ago and I failed. This is one of the real experience and a real example in the real life. I was concentrated in the predictive approach in box 6. Unfortunately, it was totally different than the actual real exams. So when I met Mr. Jaser, I purchased his simulation. And it's like more than 95%, it's matching the exact simulation that you will find in the exam. The exam itself, it's not talking about the predictive approach or agile approach. It's a mindset, it's a concept of understanding. You need a guy who can explain and to direct you to understand the concept behind the project management. For a predictive, as I remember, for this one, he asked about how many questions regarding calculation and equations. I remember I received only 2 questions. It's required a calculation, and it's not a calculation, it's very straightforward. SPI, earned value, what you understand from this equation. It's only 2 questions of the 180 questions. The scenarios, is totally different. You have to control your timing because under stress, after like half an hour and 1 hour, you will find that you are losing your control because there's stress. I recommend to take this 10 minutes for refreshment. Whether you have to just to sit in your stairs in the seat, but take it because the stress is too much. Second, you have to control and to manage your timing. It is very important. As Mr. Denis he mentioned, if you didn't understand the question in the first time and the second time, skip it, flag it, and go to the other one. Later on, you will find some certain or easy question. This will recover when you come back for the long understanding of the questions, so you can recover the timing, but don't lose it. For me, I didn't follow up these instructions. I didn't follow up this guideline. So I didn't finish the exam in the time. Maybe I left like 15 questions, and then, or maybe more than this, maybe 20 questions. So this is my recommendation. And for the guys, they want to take it from home. You have to understand that the proctor system, they are very strict. Even for example, you are smoking, they will ask you to turn off the cigarettes. They will not allow you to smoke. So you have to, even though, to understand the environment at your home that you will attend it, because you will spend like 3 hours or 3 hours and more there in the exam. Just I wanted to share my experience, and congrats, Mr. Denis. And I recommend, honestly, don't check a lot of YouTube or tests or simulation in the internet, because it will mislead you. It will mislead you. The simulation that matches the simulation that present from Mr. Jaser, this is the way that you will find it in the exam. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sameh. And I wish you a very, very, very soon success in your exam, inshallah, once you take it again.
I'm planning after 3 weeks, inshallah.
Inshallah. If you need any help or support, I am here. I'm your friend.
I already purchased your simulation. I started to achieve like 50% or 60% scores.
Very
After
good.
that, I just attend another simulation, and I start now to achieve 80 and 85%. So
Great.
I believe I'm ready. I am ready, inshallah.
Inshallah, you will pass and you will share your certificate with us, and you will be our next speaker in our next session.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Because the percentage of the questions, more than 65 or 75 of the around 70% of the questions will be like an agile mindset.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Sameh. Thank you for the input. We have a question from Mr. Don. Do we need to upload any training certificate in order to apply for the exam? I think you can answer, Mr. Denis.
No, I did not upload anything.
Yes, you don't need to apply, or you don't need to upload your certificates. Once you apply for the application for the exam, you will only need to upload them once you are audited. But the PMI is asking for the course certificate as a mandatory requirement. They don't ask you to upload the certificate. They will ask you to add, I think, the name of the training center and the date that you have taken the course. But if you are audited, you have to provide that certificate that matches the information that you have mentioned in the application. If you fail to apply or to provide those information, you will be banned, I think, for 1 year or 3 years, I'm not sure. So please make sure that you are honest in your application, but write your application using the mindset of the PMI and the PMP, and using the latest updated material, vocabulary and way of explanation of your project management experience. If you're applying for the exam, you will write your experience. They will ask you for 3 years of experience if you are with a bachelor degree or 4 years degree. So if you are adding 3 years of experience, it's highly recommended that you mention the latest 3 years of experience, because if you are audited, they will ask you to provide experience letters from the companies that you have mentioned in the application. If they are very old experience, like 20 years ago, you are mentioning an experience since 15 years ago, I think it's not easy to get back to that company to get that certification letter and to get that reference of the guy who will be making sure, or who will be proving that you have that experience. So please make sure that you mention your latest experience in the application. Great. Any other questions? Great. I believe to this extent, guys, we did not finish. We have a question from Miss Sarah. Go ahead, please.
Hi, sorry for the last minute question.
No, that's okay. Go ahead, please.
I just want to ask, should we mention only one project or multiple projects? What is better when we are applying?
I believe I have to take this question, Mr. Denis.
Yes.
Great. So, Ms. Sarah, if you are mentioning experience, there is no differences between mentioning one project or more than one project. And I think from my experience, it's better to mention 2 projects. So you can make different experiences with different responsibilities, but please make sure that you're doing that in a correct way. If you need any support, finish your application. Before submitting that, send the application to me. I will be reading that for you guys, and I will be replying to you if it is good to submit or you need some improvements. I'll be telling you that. If you are fine with what you're writing, just submit, and inshallah you will be getting acceptance from the PMI. Is it good, Miss Sarah?
Yes, thank you very much.
Great. Any other questions, guys? Please feel free to ask. Me and Mr. Denis are here to clarify all of your doubts. Great. So, to this extent, guys, we are done with our session today. I would like to thank you all for attending, and I would like to thank Mr. Sameh for his input, and definitely congratulations from our hearts, Mr. Denis, and thank you so much for sharing this valuable information. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I wish everybody the success in the future.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Great. Guys, inshallah, next time we'll have too many other sessions. We'll have other passing PMPs, and we'll have also Mr. Denis as a guest as well. So if you follow up with us, inshallah, you will get all the information you need, and all of that will be for free and free of charge. It's only volunteering from our participants and students, and inshallah that will help you to pass your PMP exam. Thank you all, and we'll see you inshallah in next sessions. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye bye. Good night. Take care.